Hey, welcome back. Last episode, we talked about the shame machine, how those survival systems got turned against you. But here's what we need to understand now. That programming didn't stay in your head. It went into your body too, into your cells, before you had any choice in the matter. So here's how this actually works. Age 0 to 7, your brain was operating in something called theta waves. Theta is basically a hypnotic state. You see it in the EEG that measures the brain waves. But theta means you're completely open, completely suggestible. So that's why children learn so fast. They learn language, they learn culture, they learn rules. It just downloads. The problem is there's no filter. No part of you that young saying, wait, is that true? Whatever your environment said, you absorbed it directly. So what got downloaded? The really important stuff, like, am I good or bad? Am I lovable? What are the rules? What happens if I don't follow them? What parts of me are okay to show? And what parts of me do I need to hide? Whatever answers you got from your environment, those became your operating system. Not because you chose them, because you were 7 and there was no filter back then. Now, here's the part that might be harder to hear. Your parents were your main environment, whoever took care of you when you were little. They told you who you were, whether you were good enough, what parts were acceptable. But they had their own programming running too. Their shadows, their shame, their stuff that they never might have ever even dealt with. Whether they were harsh or cold or made you feel like something was wrong with you, a lot of times that was their programming running, not a choice for them either, an automatic response. They were hurt people and now hurting people, which isn't okay, but it's how it works. And often they didn't know what they were doing. They had no idea. This is all unconscious because their parents programmed them. Think about it. Back when I worked in geropsych, I worked with a lot of these older people. The greatest generation, they called them. The Depression, World War II. They learned, be tough, don't feel, survive. And that's what they taught their kids. And their kids, the boomers, raised the next generation with that programming running. And this isn't about pointing fingers, who caused it, who to blame here. It's about understanding there's a chain here. You didn't get programmed because you were bad. You got programmed because everyone did. And the people who programmed you, they were programmed too. And their parents were, and so on and so on. And there was an article in Psychology Today that pointed something out. A lot of parenting behaviors that were totally normal, just how things were done, we now recognize as emotional harm to the kids. Withholding affection to control their behavior, using guilt to get compliance, making kids apologize before they even processed what happened, saying things like, stop crying or I'll give you something to cry for. Treating your sensitivity like something was wrong with you. And these weren't seen as abuse, they were just parenting. We heard things like, because I said so. What's wrong with you? You're too sensitive. And they rewired how kids saw themselves, created anxiety, perfectionism, never feeling good enough, and wounds no one knew were even being inflicted. So here's the truth. At best, growing up was hard. And these were normal parenting practices. Emotional neglect called independence. Conditional love called discipline. And then there's kids who went through actual physical, emotional, all kinds of abuse and neglect on top of that. I said physical, sexual, real neglect. A lot of people got both the normal harm and then the obvious trauma, which might not have even been so obvious. This isn't rare. This is more common than we'd like to think. If you look at child abuse stats, they're staggering. Now, here's where it gets really important. There's a scientist named Bruce Lipton, a biologist, and he discovered something. The old idea was your genes control everything. So we'd say it runs in my family. You thought you were stuck with whatever you got from your gene pool. But Lipton found it's not really the genes and the DNA and the nucleus. It's the cell membrane, the skin of the cell, that actually runs things because the membrane reads what's happening all around it. And then it will send the signals into the cell to the nucleus and tell it what to do. And here's the key. Your beliefs are part of your environment inside for your cells. That's what's going on inside you. Your body can't tell the difference between a real threat and a believed threat that you're not even aware of. So if you believed, I'm not good enough for 30 years, your cells have been getting that threat signal for 30 years. So the CDC, that's a government health agency, named childhood adversity as the #1 public health priority. Not because of what it does to your mind, I mean, that is part of it, but because of what it does to your body. Studies show direct connection between difficult childhoods and adult health problems. Things like heart disease, autoimmune problems, chronic illness, addiction, depression. These are health concerns for adults that have an origin in childhood belief systems. The more adversity, the worse the health outcomes. The beliefs that got downloaded didn't stay just in your head. They went into your body at a deep level. So I need you to really, really hear this. You didn't choose this programming. You were a kid, your brain was in a theta state, and things just downloaded into you. Your parents were running their own programming, and their parents were running theirs. And the system keeps going. That shame you feel is not really proof something's wrong with you. It's actually proof that you got programming you never even chose. From people who got programming they never chose and passed it on to you without knowing it. It's not about blame, it's about understanding this. Because we can do something now if we understand it. And here's more good news. If beliefs could be downloaded in, they can also be changed now. Epigenetics, the study how genes turn on and off, shows that works in both directions. So if you change your beliefs, change your internal environment, change the signals your cells get, change your health. You're not stuck with what you inherited. You're not locked into the programming. It can be updated. So that's where the programming lives, not just in your mind, but in all the cells of your body, downloaded before you could choose, by people who are programmed the same way. It's not your fault, and it can change. So next episode, why just thinking positive doesn't fix this. Something called polyvagal theory. How your body decides safe or dangerous without asking your brain. See you there.